In the heart of Kalamazoo, where the river whispers tales of yore, there lies a place, a park that promises joy and frolic, yet delivers naught but sorrow and vexation. 'Tis Mayor's Riverfront Park, Kalamazoo, Michigan, a name that once rolled off the tongue with anticipation, now does so with a bitter aftertaste. As I approach, the sun dips below the horizon, casting a melancholic glow over the park. I am here, a young soul with an old heart, seeking solace in the embrace of nature, but what greets me is a stark reminder of the world's cruel jest. The park, once a beacon of communal mirth, now stands as a testament to neglect and disregard. I walk the grounds, my feet treading upon soil that seems to sigh beneath the weight of its own desolation. The air is thick with the scent of summer, yet it is tainted by the incessant hum of mosquitoes, tiny winged fiends that feast upon the flesh of innocence. The so-called splash pad, a once vibrant oasis for children, lies filthy and forlorn, its waters still, its surface marred by the detritus of carelessness. As I venture further, the amphitheater looms ahead, its promise of cultural enrichment hollow, for the sound that emanates from its stage is distorted, a cacophony that offends the ear rather than delight it. The benches, upon which many a weary behind should find rest, are broken, their wood splintered, their iron rusted, as if to mirror the broken promises of this forsaken place. The riverfront, which should be the crown jewel of this park, is a sight to behold, but not for the reasons one would hope. The banks are littered with the remnants of revelries past, the grass trodden into submission by the march of uncaring feet. Dog poop, an affront to the senses, dots the landscape like a grotesque game of connect the dots, a testament to the lack of basic human decency. I seek refuge from this sensory assault, only to find that the park, in its infinite wisdom, has deemed it unnecessary to provide the most basic of amenities. A public bathroom, how peculiar, I muse, that a place designed for the enjoyment of the masses should neglect the most fundamental of human needs. It is as if the park itself conspires to expel its visitors, to rid itself of the very people it was meant to serve. As I wander lost in thought, I come upon the VIP parking lot, a paved monument to exclusion. The handicapped spaces, so few in number, are reserved for those who can afford to pay a premium, leaving the less fortunate to fend for themselves. I witness a couple, their bodies burdened by the cruelties of fate, struggling to navigate this labyrinth of inequality. The husband, after circumnavigating the entire lot, is forced to leave his ailing wife at the gate, a modern-day rendition of the ancient tale of sacrifice and betrayal. In this park, where cash is shunned like a leper in days of old, I am reminded that progress often comes at the expense of tradition. The irony is not lost on me, as I watch the elderly fumble with their obsolete currency, relics of a time when the warmth of human interaction was valued over the cold efficiency of digital transactions. Everywhere I turn, the story is the same. The concessions, overpriced and underwhelming, offer sustenance that is as soulless as the park itself. The events, once the heartbeat of communal joy, are now but echoes of their former glory, their vibrancy sapped by the indifference of those who hold the purse strings. As the night descends, a heavy shroud of darkness envelops the park, and with it, a profound sense of isolation. I am alone, yet not alone, for the park is teeming with life, but it is a life devoid of joy, a life that echoes the empty promises of a world that has forsaken its people. In the end, I am left with a heart heavy with the weight of unfulfilled potential. Mayor's Riverfront Park, Kalamazoo, Michigan, a place that could have been a sanctuary, a haven for the weary, instead stands as a monument to the failures of the businesses that hug the river bend beside Mayor's Riverfront Park in Kalamazoo, Michigan, feel like they were all built on the same blueprint: promise the moon, hand you a pebble, then charge you for the galaxy. I walked away convinced that every neon sign along this strip is just a different font for the word trap. Let me tell you how I reached that verdict, step by painful step. Start with the restaurants. Around here, they all speak the same language: $25 for chicken that tastes like it was microwaved in a library, portions sized for a house cat, and a staff that treats time as a theoretical concept. Zoruna is the perfect classroom example. You phone in an order, drive 4 hours from Ohio, and discover they never pressed save on your meal. When you reappear wearing your lunch, the best they offer is directions to the restroom, like a janitor giving life advice. Inside, the roof drips into buckets that should be listed as side dishes, and the clock moves only when you complain. One couple waited so long for their Valentine's reservation that the holiday actually ended. The manager finally floated over with desserts the size of nickels, as if sugar could patch a ruined evening. The menu swears you get grilled vegetables. The box that arrives swears the menu is a liar. Rice swims in sauce like it is trying to escape, lamb shank fights back like old boot leather, and the only thing that arrives hot is the anger climbing your neck. They even mail you a coupon for $25 off, then invent a $100 spending rule written in invisible ink. 2 separate tables told me the same trick happened to them. The staff calls it a typo, the guests call it Baytan switch, I call it a pattern. Slide a few doors down and every tablecloth is checkered, every price tag is hallucinated. The Southerner sells a fantasy of front porch hospitality, but the porch comes with a bouncer. The fried chicken costs $32, yes, 32, enough to make the chicken wonder if it is made of gold. Catfish, the humble bottom feeder, is dressed up as Langostino and crowned with a $31 tiara. Pay by card and they quietly add 3%, like a pickpocket who leaves a receipt. A family with a wheelchair had to move their own traffic cones to escape the parking lot. If a fire had started, the lot would have become a very expensive barbecue. One manager stalked out to scold a customer for tipping only 10% on a takeout bag, turning the sidewalk into a math class nobody asked for. Another guest stepped onto the adjoining dock thinking it belonged to the restaurant and was greeted with a sheriff threat instead of a welcome. The same manager later told them the owner is even worse than me, a line that hangs in the air like a warning siren if the captain is scarier than the pirate abandoned ship. Even the ballpark Homer Stryker Field feels infected by the same riverfront fever. Fireworks are advertised with no start time, so families sit in the dark until the kids fall asleep on the bleachers and the sparklers finally pop off to an audience of empty seats. Wheelchair sections sit so low that storage sheds block the bases. The disabled get a view of plywood instead of home plate. When you try to leave early, incoming traffic hijacks both lanes and cones, barricade the only exit, turning an emergency into a hostage situation. One father told me it took 45 minutes to escape. If his child had needed an ambulance, the paramedics would still be waiting for a gap in traffic that never comes. The hot dogs taste like they were boiled in regret, the staff bark orders like they are still playing the game, and the scoreboard is the only thing that actually tells the truth. Put the 3 side by side and the chorus is identical: overpromise, underdeliver, overcharge. The river glides past, indifferent, while each storefront practices the same sleight of hand.
You arrive hungry, leave lighter in wallet and spirit, and the only thing filling your stomach is the slow burn of realizing you have been mugged politely. So if you are staying near Mayor's Riverfront Park, pack patience, pack snacks, and pack a receipt scanner. Assume every menu is written in disappearing ink, every reservation is a rumor, every coupon is a mirage. Eat before you come, tip after you verify, and if someone promises you sunset views with your meal, check that the sun is not also rented by the hour. Kalamazoo deserves better, travelers deserve.
Businesses near Mayor S. Riverfront Park, Kalamazoo, Michigan, sometimes get fake bills, Like, some people got invoices pretending to be from the city planning department. They use real information to trick you, asking for wire transfers, but the city does not even take payments like that. What happens next? Probably someone panicked, sent money, and then realized too late. The scammers. Gone like always, just poof. And then there was this Shell gas station near Westnedge, not far from Mayor S. Riverfront Park. Like, 20-30 people just stormed in one Saturday, took stuff and ran. Hundreds of dollars gone just like that. The manager must have felt so helpless, right? What happens after? Maybe they put up more cameras or hired security, but the thieves, probably long gone, laughing. Over at Woodland Mall, close to the park, some guy hit an officer during a fraud thing. Like, why? Just stealing and then hurting someone. That officer probably had to go to the hospital, and the guy who did it. Jail, hopefully. But you know how it is, some people just don't care. Tourists coming here for 2 weeks, you think you race safe, but then things like this happen. It's not like everywhere is bad, but you have to be careful, you know. Like check your bills, watch your stuff, and don't trust weird payments. Because scammers, they ray everywhere, even near Mayor's Riverfront Park, Kalamazoo, Michigan.